from books to entertainment to self-help and even a little spice. I'm Victoria.
I'm Kiara.
And I'm Katalyn.
Kiara made me almost mess up the intro. God.
I'm one of those like crazy cookie moods.
Oh gosh. Just being fun and fresh. We're here to talk about Women's History Month. Last year, our episode was kind of like a history on how we got to Women's History Month. And this year, we're going to talk about some of the things that have been happening. Most of it has been in the U.S. There are other instances of the abuse of women in other countries that we're probably going to touch on. But as we are all Americans, specifically from the U.S., there's only so much that we can go into with regards to the other countries. So,
Katalyn, what is that face?
Just dread of being American.
I just remembered, Victoria, I don't think you were actually on the recording for.
I was not.
No. It was just Katalyn.
We were testing out many moons ago how it would be if one of us was missing. Katalyn and I still never made an episode that was just us.
It's because I have like major FOMO and I would just
off the other. Like, I'm always going to be there.
I'm always here. I could be in the hospital. I'm here.
So, it just made sense for the episode about the history of Women's History Month to just be the historians, because I would have just been here, eyes glazed over, fully disassociated.
You're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So
you're saying words.
Anyways, I know some of those words.
Before we get started, we're going to jump into our quenchable moments. If you're new here, quenchable moment is something happy or exciting that has happened to us over the last week or so that we want to share with each other and with you. So to kick us off, Katalyn, what was your quenchable moment this week?
My quenchable moment is that I finally finished my ACOTAR inspired blanket that I bought the yarn for forever ago.
That's so cute.
It's folded in half, but so the yarn shop dyed each of these like based off a different aspect of the ACOTAR books. So like I didn't pick them, but like she made the like it was like an advent calendar. So
if I knew how to knit, I would definitely get one.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So like the orange is like there you are, I've been looking for you from like Cal and Mai, and the red is like red lacy under things. That
as it should be.
Asriel's somewhere in here.
Yeah. As he should be.
Yes. This is a Defender of the Rainbow. So yeah, I finished it finally on my snow day on Wednesday. So now I have 3 blankets I've made on my bed. And the cats love them.
I would be sitting there with them all around me. Just
luckily it's still fucking cold here, so I need them all, but you know.
Oh, you're telling me it's fucking freezing here too.
Same. Kira, it was -13 on Thursday.
I know it's colder for you, but it's definitely like really fucking cold.
I know it's like 30 for you right now.
Yeah. But Victoria, anyways. I checked Virginia's weather the other day. It was like 64. I'm like
yeah, and then it sleeted yesterday.
I'll take sleet. We got snow overnight, so
no, and then it's shifted to snow, so it was cold.
We had a snow day that was dumb, but
my
I finished
hometown,
this, so
Southern California, they got like snow. They're dealing with a winter storm right now, which is, I'm like over here like
wild.
I've been to your hometown.
Climate change.
Yeah. But anyways, so I finished my blanket. It only took
really
like
cute.
2 years, but you know,
I love it.
It's
gorgeous.
Thanks.
I need one. I have to say that when you had it on the sheet and it said blank.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
I know. My keyboard, the E sticks on my actual keyboard on my computer. I need to get a new computer.
It was really funny. Anyways, Victoria, what was your quenchable moment this week?
So my quenchable moment is something that I got yesterday. Target did a Black History Month collection, which was absolutely beautiful.
Was it better than last year's? Last year's it just seemed jokey.
It was significantly better this year. And I'm sad that I couldn't get more pieces. I just am trying to be really conscious about all of the clothes that I'm getting because of the fact that I am trying to lose weight. Allegedly, I have been a little bit successful in that task. We'll see. So I'm trying not to buy any clothes, especially because I just got rid of like a huge 10-gallon trash bag worth of clothes.
Yeah, you did.
But they did have other non-clothing accessories, and I picked one up yesterday. I got this light up sign that says Limitless. And it will eventually end up behind me when I redo this space. But I just thought it was really nice. I wanted a light up sign for a while, but I really like the message of not limiting yourself, especially in a country that perpetually likes to put down not just women, but Black women specifically. So I'm really glad that I was able to get this. Yeah. Just makes me happy.
Cute. I can't wait to see how your area looks redone when you get that up.
Yeah.
I just noticed that you took down your Valentine stuff.
Yeah. Also, the other cool thing about what they did with the Black History Month collection, they put the creators on the backs or tags of the items. Nice. So you can actually see like who it was that designed this, where they're from, just some interesting things about them. So I thought that was really cool.
That's really cute.
Anyways, what was your quenchable moment this week, Kiara?
So technically at the time of recording, it has not happened yet. But the day that this is releasing on, which this should be coming out March 9th, that is my best friend's birthday. I live with her, Emily. You guys have heard about her. You maybe have, if you watch the YouTubes, you may have seen her dog make an appearance. I don't know. But we're celebrating our birthday together. So instead of getting things for each other, we usually like do something when we can. So we are going to a spa and we are getting massages and facials, and I'm so excited. So I haven't had a massage since 2021, and that was like the first like full body massage I've ever had. So I've only ever had one, and then I've had like in high school senior year, I went to a place for a facial. And then the only other facials I've had were from you, Victoria. So I haven't really
I was like, I know you're not about to lie on my name.
No, and I'm like the only other ones. So I've had 2 from you, which have been phenomenal. Just too short. I want them to be so much longer, but obviously, like, we don't have the time. We don't have the time.
We're in time crunch.
Yes, I honestly like. If I could, like, when I come visit, I want an hour-long facial by you. So
yeah,
just
normally my facials are like an hour and 15 minutes. So
yeah, but this will be my first like long one. It's an hour-long facial, and it's at like not just any spa; it's at a Korean spa. So it's gonna be. They have the head, the scalp things too.
So bad.
I want one so bad. It was just too much for our budget this time around, but I'm definitely gonna go back if I like this place because I get those TikToks of the scalp. Oh my god! And they take that little orange like comb and they like pull off the dead skin off your scalp, and I'm like, I want that so bad.
I'll pass. Thanks.
I want it. Just like clean my scalp, make it feel nice. Please. So at the time this is out, I will be laying on a bed naked with a towel getting a massage.
Love that for you.
Perfect.
Literally at the time that this episode comes out, I will probably be at the spa.
Nice. Well, happy birthday from us, Emily. We hope you guys have a great time. We love to see women supporting women. And with that, segue right on into the episode. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that specifically in the US, there has been a lot of turmoil over human rights violations, specifically pertaining to Roe v. Wade being overturned and abortion care. It's been really hard. I mean, I am very fortunate to live in a state that even though we have a Republican governor, we have a lot of Democratic members of our Congress who have heavily pushed back against any changes in abortion care and have prevented them from happening. So I know not everybody has been that lucky. We've been seeing a lot of states going really, really far in what they're willing to do to keep people from having abortions. We've been seeing a lot of cases of women dying. That's been skyrocketing since Roe v. Wade overturned.
Literally, there was one, I think, within a week of Roe v. Wade being overturned.
And it's just continuously gone up. The maternal mortality rate is absolutely insane. And the problem is a lot of states are trying to keep that information from getting out. But of course it is, because people are resourceful and they want to know. But women. Unfortunately, doctors are being forced to be more concerned with the legality of providing care rather than actually providing care. Mm-hmm. And you know, the saddest part of it is it's going to drastically affect the economy of a lot of these states, because you're seeing this now, I think in Tennessee, where OBGYNs are just leaving. Yeah. And they don't have OBGYN programs. They had one program and people are not willing to do it because they can't complete their program without knowing how to do an abortion. And they don't want to be in a state where they could go to jail for that. So they're just leaving.
So. I think even just like base layer, you know, if you're looking at the economy, which obviously, you know, that's what the U.S. is literally obsessed with. It's just, they don't care about anything else but the economy. Mm-hmm. You know, we are still in a worldwide pandemic. Like it's not over, guys. Like we're still dealing with that. And we have seen over 1 million people in this country alone die, which has severely affected the economy. This is just going to make it worse because, again, women are dying. They are dying from sepsis, from stillbirths, from, you know, trying to force an abortion on their own. Like they are like preeclampsia. They're dying from preeclampsia. Like you have to take the baby out if you have No, that's not a thing. It's not a thing, guys.
Yeah.
Well, God wouldn't want that. Fuck your God. Like,
not only that, but like, there are hundreds of thousands of women every day having miscarriages and now have to worry about going to jail because of having a miscarriage. Here are these women experiencing one of the most traumatic events of their lives. And now they're being told, well, you're going to go to jail because it looks suspicious. How is that okay?
You can't control what your body does.
No.
And like for someone like me who, you know, I have PCOS, which makes it absurdly more difficult to even get pregnant. But when you are pregnant, you also have so many complications because of just your hormonal imbalances and just how your body doesn't want to work with you. And we also go through periods like I'm going through right now where we don't get our period. Like, have not had one 6 months maybe. And a lot of people will be like, oh, are you pregnant? You need to take a pregnancy test. And they won't believe you. And it's like, oh, well, then you had an abortion. And it's like, no, that's not what happened. And so people who have literal medical conditions are also dealing with these on the front end, because even not being pregnant, because they just don't believe that we don't want to have kids. I don't.
Well, and like other unintended side effects, some of the medication used in abortion, because it's no longer available in certain states, that medication is used for other things too. So that means that the people who use that medication for other health concerns also can't get it. So it's just having this massive ripple effect that they're just burying their heads in the sand and trying to ignore. And it's like, you're not going to be able to ignore this, because as it is, women our age, we either don't want to have kids or we're too afraid to have kids. And this has just made it even worse. Like, there's no way in hell I would have a child in the way things are right now.
I'm just like,
especially not if there's a chance that it would be a girl.
That soundbite of like, have kids in this economy?
Yeah. No? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
There's no way.
No way.
I would never do that. Because it makes no sense, one, financially.
No.
There's no way I could afford to have a child right now.
I can't even afford myself.
Yeah.
For basic needs.
Yeah. Exactly. So I can't afford to have a kid. I already have the fact that I am Black working against me. So I know for a fact that if I had issues, people wouldn't believe me. And then on top of every other issue that we have just as women as a general, like there's no way. I would sooner slit my own damn throat. And that's the other thing too. There are women out there who are going to fucking kill themselves because of this.
They already have started. There's already been women who have committed suicide because of everything that we've been seeing going on.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so aggravating to see them be like, oh yeah, a fetus is a person. Then why do you not get the other perks of personhood? Women should be able to take out insurance policies on their fetuses. Women should be able to have, be able to get the tax break from the moment that they're pregnant. If a pregnant woman is killed, it should be considered a double homicide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like if you really want to consider a fetus a human.
Mm-hmm. There's I think a case right now in I think Florida or something where a pregnant woman she's held in jail and she's like, well, my baby that I'm pregnant with is not under arrest and we need to be released because that is a false arrest.
And that's what people have had to resort to. They've had to resort to malicious compliance because they're trying to have it both ways.
And it doesn't work that way.
And I have no doubt in my mind that some attorney is going to be like, oh, well, they were an accessory to the crime. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? And it's just been like compounded by the fact that, of course, like if you don't know, there have been images released of what a fetus looks like up to certain points in the abortion process. And it literally looks like a fucking loogie. Like it looks like somebody spit in a jar.
It's so funny to like look at because for so long, you know, these people who stand outside the clinics and stuff will have these pictures of what a fetus looks like, and we're just like, that is a fetus at like 6 months gestation, maybe, and you're saying it's like 12 weeks. That's a goddamn lie.
No. And the crazier thing still with those people specifically, I remember seeing a video of somebody like walking around with signs of fetuses and being like, oh, is this a human baby? And they're like, oh, just kidding, it's actually a dolphin. Or like, is this a human baby? No, it's a dog. You can't even tell. Can't even tell the difference.
A monkey, because monkeys have like that they're like the closest.
Yeah, but like at a certain point, all fetuses look the same. So it's like, but it's so aggravating. It's so frustrating. And you just continue to see women being abused all across the country and all across the world. I mean, we just had everything that, well, we've continued to see everything that's been happening with the Islamic regime with women in coverings and just constantly being murdered for protesting. Like, I can't even imagine the level of strife that they're having to deal with on a daily basis. Like, as much of a shithole as America is, at least we don't have to worry. Well, white women don't have to worry as much about just being murdered on the street just for being out there and protesting. So it's just like, at what point does it stop? Will it ever stop?
Probably not.
And
that's the question.
It's so frustrating. Like, what do we do? And women are doing I hope that they're doing as much as they can. I mean, I am unfortunately not in a position to be able to go and safely protest anywhere because of the area that I live in. But I try and share information where I can, keep myself up to date. If you guys are looking at anybody to follow to keep up to date with specifically on abortion care, I definitely recommend checking out Aunt Killjoy on TikTok. She is a feminist journalist and keeps up with a lot of the information that's coming in from all over the country and has been a wealth of knowledge. And I really appreciate all of the content that she's put out there. I believe she also has a newsletter that you can follow. So definitely check her out. And again, as many problems as TikTok has, it has been massively helpful in keeping the flow of information going. There are a lot of things that I think everyone across the country just wouldn't know about if it weren't for this social media platform.
I think that and that's something that we kind of see across the board with anything that's going on in the country and the world right now. You know, take Ukraine, for example, everything that started happening a year ago. And, you know, that could have ultimately escalated so much quicker than it has. And I really think that the use of social media in this aspect has helped Ukraine kind of keep and hold a line, because so many people are seeing it online. So you had all of these volunteers flying out there to help in any way that they can, which is so phenomenal. And so you're also seeing, like, when everything happened for Roe v. Wade, the amount of people in blue states. So, like, I've always lived in a blue state. I will never not live in a blue state. You can kiss my ass if you think that I would move to anywhere else. I am a coastal bitch through and through, specifically a West Coast bitch. And, you know, we have some of the hardest, most open laws in terms of, you know, abortion access, specifically where I grew up, California. They're like, first and foremost, like, women have the right to choose in any case. And when Roe v. Wade happened, the amount of not just women, but just like people in general who came out being like, I will drive you somewhere. I will get you there. We have safe houses. We can, I know a doctor. Like, there's resources. And I think that social media is playing such a large role in making sure that we don't go back to these unsafe practices that killed so many women in the fucking 60s and 70s. Like, it has not been that long.
No.
Our mothers were alive when Roe v. Wade was, or they were being born. Like my mom was born in 68. Like, Roe v. Wade was not that long ago.
Yeah, my mom was born in 74.
Wow, like, my parents are old. My mom was born in 57.
So, like, and so your mom, she was alive pre Roe v. Wade.
Which is why she's so fucking irritating, because she is part of the problem.
My mom is like she learns from her kids, which is great. I love my mom.
And it's so
my parents also learned from us. They were like, "Oh shit, even my dad." And I was like, "Who are you?"
My dad, my
white
fucking
Republican
dad,
man.
in like 2008 or some shit. I don't fucking know what was going on, but he came up to me. I was like 13 or 14. I was a teen, and he was like, "I don't believe in this, but I'm voting on it because of you." And I'm just like, I don't know how to accept that.
No.
Like, what?
Yeah. No,
and
my dad.
Sorry, go ahead.
I straight up, like, it was like a Mother's Day lunch last year. We were like with my grandma. I got to lunch, and like Roe v. Wade had just like been overturned. Essentially, I think it was around that time last year, and my grandma's friend was like, "Oh, I'm so tired of hearing about all about this." Blah, blah, blah. My dad's like, but it's important. Women's right to choose." And I like was like mid bite, and I was like,
"What?
Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah.
But it's like true.
Yeah, and it's just so. This is gonna get a little personal. So it's particularly frustrating for me to be the daughter of a woman, but a biracial daughter, and to constantly have the person who tells me, like, I care so deeply for you and I want you to be happy and healthy, and I'm your parent and it's my job to make sure that you're safe, and to see her constantly make decisions that negatively impact me. And I don't know how to explain to her that she is the biggest threat to my safety. She is a white woman, is the most dangerous person to me. And I don't know, like, how to really push that home. Like, even when we went on the cruise. So for those of you that don't know, when we went on our cruise, I brought my younger sister with me. My younger sister is pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, she could 100% pass the Nazi vibe check.
Cherub baby. Like, she
not what I thought you would say today, but okay.
I knew exactly where she was going with that. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. She is 100% that child. And there have been instances in my life where I've gone out in public with her and I have been called her nanny. People have accused me of taking her. And because of this fear, especially how things are now, I had a document notarized and signed by both of her parents that stated I had the legal right to act as her guardian within that span of time. And I don't understand how that didn't hammer home exactly what it is that I have to face and deal with. There's a gas station around the corner from where I live. I can't even go in there anymore because during the height of all of the BLM protests, I went in there one morning to get coffee. The women who work there have known me since I was 5. They know exactly who I am. They know who my entire family is. And there was a group of older men standing there watching me as if I was about to whip out a gun and shoot everyone. And I told her this. I told her this months after it happened, and she was so upset and crying and was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, why would I tell you after you voted for the people that you voted for? Mm-hmm. I don't trust you.
And we will never understand as white women what you go through, but I see that with mm-hmm. Riley. I kind of get like that outsider perspective, but close to it, because my Aunt Jeannie, she votes that way too, and you know, Riley has made TikToks of her arguing with her mom, especially around during the BLM height of that in 2020, like trying to explain to her like why certain things like are happening, because my aunt was just like not getting it. And there are certain things that she does and I'm just like, I have to remind her, I'm just like, your daughter's not white. Like there are certain things that she like from a young age, I have always been very like cognizant of like when I talk to Riley about certain things, I'm just like, these are my experiences and these are not the experiences that you will have when you are my age. And it is because of the color of your skin. And I just want you to really understand that it is not fair what you are going to have to go through, but also letting her know that I will always be in her corner and I will always be there to support her. So whatever need she has, whatever she needs me to do for her, I will do. Because first and foremost, she is my family. And I will ride or die. I would take a bullet for that girl. Second off, not even like looking at my degrees, but just like my humanity in for like the world, like that it's just not okay how we treat people who look differently than us. And so I always tried to be very apparent when I talk to her about these things. I'm just like, you will be a Black woman and you are going to be an adult in this world, and there are going to be things that you have not experienced yet because you have been surrounded by this community of people who love you. But I'm like, when you go out in the world and you're meeting people who don't know you and are racist or don't enjoy women in their company, like you are going to be dealing with things that you have never experienced before. And I'm like, I've always just wanted to prepare her for that.
But yeah, it's just,
and I'm like, I will never understand. I will have never gone through some of those experiences. As a woman, I go through some experiences, but not as a Black woman. And so,
and that's part of why I get so aggravated, because it's not even just that my mom is a woman. My mom is a college educated woman.
That's surprising, actually.
She's taking classes. She took classes. It was one of the most popular classes at Wichita State University called Men and Masculinity. And it was specifically about misogyny. She agrees that abortion is healthcare.
Yeah. But, yeah.
And it's just,
my friends is the same way. My dad's like, your body, your choice, but I'm still going to vote for these dipshits. And so is my mom. Same way.
And so anytime, we don't talk about politics anymore. I had that conversation with her about me and Blackness and all of that. And again, she told me like, I hate that you felt like you couldn't talk to me about this and blah, blah, blah. And then the election happened and she still voted for Donald Trump. And I went into her room and I was like, we had this conversation and you still voted this way. And she's like, you're not going to tell me how I'm going to vote. And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you how to vote. But I would think that as a parent of a biracial person that you would vote for somebody that doesn't want to fucking kill me.
This is something that, I've gotten to
because of that. Sorry, let me finish my thought before I forget it. But because of that conversation, I don't talk to her about anything important anymore. Every conversation that I have with my mother now, wholly superficial. And it should not be like that with mothers and daughters.
Mm-mm. Oh yeah, no. I haven't had a real conversation with my mom since like middle school, so
yeah, it shouldn't be like that.
And I think this is something, you know, what our generation kind of has been going through with in terms of what we call breaking generational curses. Are you okay, Katalyn? You literally just slammed your hand on something.
I just have my hand on my desk. It's fine.
Oh my god. You know, we talk about this thing of like breaking generational curses, and I think it's something that we, not just as millennials, but I think as women, like millennial women specifically, in terms of breaking generational curses, is that we wholeheartedly believe in the, like, these are the consequences of your actions. Like me and my dad, he made his choices.
Isn't the consequences of my own actions.
If he made his choices, he has done what he has done in his life. That's on him. And the only person he can, you know, look at to blame is himself. Like like the relationship I have with him, the discussions I have with him, I don't, like, you guys know I don't talk to my dad very often. Like, I don't. Very superficial. Like, he tried blaming my mom for like why the boys and I don't talk to him. Like when we were younger, he's like, "You're filling their head with lies." And I'm just like, dude, I knew what you did before mom did. So like, don't even go there. Don't even go there. So it's like, with our parents, and I think women, like millennial women specifically, we are very much we're not taking this shit anymore. You need, like, just because people walk in, they're like, oh, it's my freedom of speech. And it's like, yeah, against the government, that does not mean that you are free from consequence of the things you're fucking saying.
Yeah.
Like, that the government cannot come after you for saying something negative about the government. That is what that is what that
all the negative shit about someone I want without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
It's like, but there are consequences for your actions and for the things that you say outside of that.
You can go to the Bronx and say the N-word. Doesn't mean you're not going to get your face fucking pounded in.
That's your free right to go and say that word. But you know, there's going to be people around you when you say it that are
don't recommend it.
Not going to be happy about it. And that's just the world that we live in. And I also like, I think this leans into and I love it. I love seeing it so much. That's why, like, on the outline we have, I said women. Our generation and the generations after us, Generation Z and hopefully Alpha Generation, the way that we have all started leaning into our feminine rage. Chef's fucking kiss. Because, like, obviously men are like, oh, feminine rage is like emotional and outbursts. And I'm like, no, that's you. Feminine rage is very quiet. If a woman gets quiet around you, that's when you should be worried.
It's plotting your murder.
So at work, I obviously work with just boys in the program, and so it's me and my coworker, and we're both women, and we're like trying to tell them these kinds of things. I'm like, just listen to us, and like don't be that way. They're very conservative too, which blows my mind. It's a whole thing.
And they're hold on, and these are boys of color, correct?
Latino boys.
Listen, no, because Connor's best friend Michael, who is also in the Navy, Latino boy.
Connor's also kind of a boy.
It's fine. I love him to death. We have our own issues outside of this. His best friend, who he joined the Navy with, Latino boy. I'm not sure if his parents or if his grandparents are the ones that immigrated. I have the biggest issue with him because he was like, well, I was raised a liberal, and I converted to being a Republican. Shouldn't that say something? And I'm like, yeah, about your character.
Yeah, like some of these boys, they immigrated with their parents, which blows my mind. But like, we do our best to like be like, no, that's not how you talk to girls. No, that's not how you treat women. We also have to like correct the girls too sometimes. But yeah, just
internalized misogyny.
Yeah,
we're trying.
And this is not to say, but you know, this is not to say that, you know, not all men and boys are hot garbage. Because shout out to the dads that are doing it right. Shout out to the men that are making strides to improve themselves and improve our situation and are helping fight the fight and just make things better. Specifically, shout out to our youngest congressperson ever. Thank God they're finally getting younger congresspeople because we need that representation.
We have a Gen Z in Congress.
Times are changing. Gen Z is very heavily involved, and they need to be represented.
It's just like a sidebar, just talking about this really quick. So, like, when boomers and Gen X would talk about millennials, like, they talk about us like we're still teenagers. And we're like, the oldest part of us are, like, literally in their 40s. Like, what are you talking about? But now I kind of understand it because they're just like, no, they're the Gen Z in Congress. And I'm like, no, they're 12.
They're just a baby.
They're just a baby.
No, they're not babies anymore.
For me, I'm just like, no, Riley is going to be 18 in May, and she is on the bottom end of Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I can't do this.
I will say, though, the boys, we do have good conversations with the boys about a lot of this stuff. We don't talk about politics, but, like, about that kind of stuff. Like, they'll ask good questions, and, like, so we have good, open conversations about it. So it gives me some hope.
Other than listen, if you need me to fly down and, like, guest speak, I can bring my master's in American studies, emphasis in race and ethnic and sexuality studies, and be like, listen, you guys are great. You're young. You are malleable. Your frontal cortex is still developing, and it's okay. These are the things that you should know.
They really listen to me, so
I mean, I could come out there. They'll listen to me.
They might. I mean, they're starting Victoria to listen to me a bit more. But...
You don't want Victoria coming out there. She's gonna be mean.
She would be mean. I don't know. My coworker, she's Latina and she's a mom, and so she has that like Mexican mom vibe, and they're all scared.
Oh, yeah, as they should be.
I'm sorry. You look at our family lineup, and you're like, oh, the person I need to worry about the most. Probably people will look at Connor now because he's like very built from the Navy. Like, oh, he's who I need to worry about. No,
I'm more scared of your mom.
Tammy. Tammy's the one. She's the scary one. And I know she listens to this. And no, I swear to God, and she will agree with me. We've talked about this. We're just like, Tammy's the one everyone needs to worry about. She's tiny.
She was so nice when I met her.
A tiny little woman of Latina descent. Like, she is fucking terrifying. And don't get me started on her goddamn sisters. I love them. But I'm just like, I would never want to make them mad.
No.
That's fair.
No. And, like, my coworker has yelled at these kids, and I felt like I'm in trouble. And I'm like,
no, her mom's name is Frenchie. Probably sounds like, and she is the sweetest woman. The sweetest woman. I will never, ever want to make her angry. Kyle, have fun. I told the girls at the wedding, I'm just like, there's no take backs. You guys have them now. No.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's just, again, speaking very personally, it's just really hard to be the daughter of a woman who is consistently voting against her own self-interests, but voting in a way that's going to seriously impact her children. Like, hearing some of the things that my sister says now when she's 9 just makes me really nervous. But I'm hopeful that with my continued presence in her life,
you tell me, I will be out there so quick and be like,
start to like learn and understand. She has like it's kind of idea having a Black sister, but it's still just, it's gonna be hard, especially because her dad is even worse.
And I think, obviously, again, Katalyn and I and those of us who listen to the podcast who are white, or so this is something we'll never understand, but I definitely have to have this conversation with my mom as well, in terms of just like talking about women as a general. For a long time it was really hard having these conversations with my mom about like how the way she voted, because she voted for the orange Cheeto man, and I don't even want to say his fucking name. But as we get older, she's more open to listening to all sides of the conversation. And I think it helps that like Kyle and I are very liberal in that sense. She likes to say Kyle's moderate, but he definitely leans like more left. which also I would like to thank Tammy for. That's my girl. But even like in this last election, these last midterms, she really listened to me on, you know, the things that were being voted on and what they meant. And I'm just like, well, you should vote this way for this because this is what it's going to mean for like us and like the people. And of course, she's very much like a what about the economy kind of person. And I think everyone, like, if you're Gen X,
that's the generation
you care about it. That the boomers and Gen X, they care more about the economy, whereas millennials is that turning point. We care about humanity and people and just the betterment of us as a society. And I think, you know, my mom is really starting to open up to those ideas. It's been hard, but I can kind of, on the women aspect, I can kind of understand like where you're coming from.
I think part of the problem is that some boomers and some Gen Xers don't realize that if we continue on the path that we're on and continue to take away the humanity from our system, the economy is just going to keep getting worse. That is part of the problem. The economy is not going to improve by continuing to oppress people.
No. I think just like
look at how fantastic. Like, look at how fantastic the economy is in countries like Germany or in Switzerland, where they have all of these social programs to take care of their people who
let's use Germany as a goddamn example. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Look at how they
in
bounce
more
back.
ways than one.
And they don't hide from their history. They're like,
no, they don't hide.
They teach it.
They were like, we fucked up.
They have monuments all over about like, the bad part of their history, like the stuff that they like you think they'd want to hide, all over the country.
And that's why, like, whenever someone tries to use like that as an example as to like why we're better, I'm just like, no, we're not. Because you want to know what? First and foremost, we don't talk about any of this stuff in history. We don't talk about any of these American things, the things that have happened on the land of the U.S. Like we haven't talked about it, and that's like our first issue.
Because you can now get arrested for saying the word racism in Florida.
Listen, DeSantis can
Florida out.
He can get fucked.
I feel like we should at this point.
Reminder: next year is an election year.
Yeah,
like a big election year.
This is the presidential election is coming up, guys. I know a lot of people look at that and they're like, you know, what? My vote doesn't count. I get it. The electoral college is absolutely.
It's also
electoral
another like
college
midterm.
Yeah. So the electoral college is literally fucked. We hate it.
It's stupid.
It's the worst. But that is not the only thing that you're voting on. You're voting on, you know, your state representatives. You're voting on county representatives. You're voting on city representatives. You're voting on bills that are happening literally in your town. So
next year's a big year for it.
Presidential stuff, yes, it can be daunting. You can be like, well, my vote doesn't count because look at there's so many people that vote. I mean, look at what happened in this last election. Everyone's like, what? Everyone's like, well, he had so many votes and he still lost. And it's like, yeah, you know what? He had the second most amount of votes in the United States history. Joe Biden just had the most. And that's because so many people came out and they were just like passionate about this because we're so fucking tired of it, guys.
Yeah.
But there's so much more that you can vote on. And I think it's really important that you learn the bills that are being put into place because and I know, like, I did a program in high school where I learned how to read bills. So it's really easy for me to understand these things, but they are very difficult.
There are websites that dumb them down for you.
They are websites that are bills for dummies. Like, literally just go and look them up. Go see what they would mean because a lot of websites will give you, like, the pros and cons of each thing that is being voted on in your area or for the country as a whole.
Yeah,
and those are the important things that you need to be voting on.
And they'll clarify those bills for you so they don't have a situation like they almost had in Kansas where they fucked with the verbiage so hard that it seemed like they were voting in favor of abortion care when in actuality they needed to vote no because that would have taken away abortion care. Also, shout out to Kansas. Proud of y'all. You did well. Appreciate it.
Like, you just go back to you know, same-sex marriage and family, you know, Bill 8. There was yes and no on 8. And I think that was really confusing too in 2008. People were just like, well, what do you mean? And so people had to like make slogans like no hate, no on 8. Like we should like they should be easier to read, but they won't be because that's how politicians work. And we hate it, but It is so important. I will always be an advocate for voting. I know sometimes it can be hard. I know sometimes it's daunting. The program that I was in, and they actually had an anniversary. This is their 75th anniversary of this program that I was in high school called Youth in Government. My second year in the program, you vote for the youth governor every year. And the voting came down and it was off by 1 point. They had to recount 5 times to make sure that it was correct. 1 point. And from that moment onward, I have always been an advocate for voting. It is so important because it will come down to those minuscule votes. And we saw that. Look at how many states were held up in this last presidential election. Yeah. It was a week almost before we got a verification.
And if things keep getting taken away from women, that would be the only way we can
They want to take our voting rights away, which is why they are making all of these laws against women who are trying to get abortions. They're trying to lock us up because when you are in jail, you lose your right to vote. You lose it. And this is why it is so important. If you are a woman, if you are an advocate for a woman, if you have a mother, a sister, a grandma, if you have women in your life that you love, then you need to vote in favor of them and their choice. And I am so passionate about this, you guys. I am so passionate. I will literally scream from the rooftops. It is so important.
Yes, I agree. Voting is important. Your vote does matter, even though it doesn't feel like it. And this is not to say that Democrats are the end-all be-all, but they're not. Unfortunately, the lesser of two evils at this moment in time. I know that there were a lot of people that voted libertarian or whatever. Just to let y'all know, libertarians are not great.
They're not.
You really need to look into their policies. They still wholeheartedly believe in capitalism. A lot of them still don't believe that women should have some of the rights that we have. Please look into this. Make sure to do your research on any of the policies that you have coming up that are gonna be voted for. Make yourself aware of what's happening in the other states. It is more than just your state that matters. You have to care about the country as a whole, because the more people that know what's going on, the more this information can be spread to the people who need to be aware about it. So just continue to do your research and just be aware. It's very, very important.
I always share any resources that I come across for any state because I know that I have people that follow me or people that I'm friends with that live in these different states that maybe haven't seen these resources yet, and that they can share onto their platforms as well because they can get that kind of word out. I like to give money when I can if I have it. Just sharing, just on TikTok, if you share a post, it's going to be pushed to more people. It's so important to do those types of things, even if you feel like you can't do anything so small. Sign petitions. There's so many petitions out there. The way bills get pushed into Congress to be looked at is first and foremost, you start a petition. You write a bill, start a petition, you lobby for it. It's super easy, super simple. So whatever you can do, guys.
There's a lot more to do than you think. Not everything is money and protests. There are other ways to contribute that allow you to stay safe and still contribute and be a part of improving our lives for everyone. So if you guys want to continue the conversation, you can always message us on our Discord server. We do have designated spaces for harder topics like this. We do request that you keep to those spaces because we also want to ensure that the channels that are not dedicated to that are lighter palate cleanser spaces for some of the hardships that everyone is facing right now. You can also email us at tvp.staythirsty@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram. If you guys have any resources that you think that we should look into, please feel free to send those. We're always looking and wanting to learn. And we just hope that all of you take this time to really seriously consider the state of not just our country, but the world, and how we can all work together to improve it, because we need to always be working to improve it. We want this planet to be better for future generations than it has been for us. But for now, Kiara, will you take us out with an affirmation?
I will. So today's affirmation is, I am aware that the knowledge I've gained from experiences can change other people who are on the same path. Sharing my success lifts others up, and sharing my mistakes protects them.
Aw.
I feel like that's very poignant for women.
Very much so. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to tune in on Tasty Tuesdays and Thirsty Thursdays for all new episodes. Be sure to subscribe and follow our socials listed in the description. Make sure you like, rate, and leave a review for the podcast to help boost us across the platforms. Helps more than you know. Have a lovely day, and remember, stay thirsty, bitches.